What is up, guys? It is the Sports Nerd Bradley Walker, and welcome, guys, to the Walker Report, part of In the Zone Sports Talk Radio and part of NGSC Sports. Guys, remember the website. It's ngscsports.com for all your current sports content. Guys, we are also being sponsored by CreatingZenSpaces.com, the local choice in St. Petersburg, Florida, for house cleaning, organization, decluttering, and pet sitting. It's about finding the peace within you and adding comfort to your life. Remember, guys, Zen Spaces begins with you. Please be kind to yourself and one another. If you want to catch the show after live, or like my man Adam said on TikTok earlier today, you want to watch it again, head over to the Sports Nerd Bradley Walker YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe, and share. It would be freaking awesome for us to be seen on other sports etiquettes and all that stuff. Well, let me go ahead, guys, and bring on both of my esteemed co-hosts this week. Gentlemen, how we going?
Ooh, you brought me first.
Good evening.
Good day, good day.
Yes.
It's a very good Thursday since yours truly is recovering from severe back pain on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday from my COVID shot. So thank you for that. So, yeah.
Was that the booster?
Did you die?
Huh? Yeah, the booster shot. Yeah, I had bad back pain for starting Sunday morning and all the way through Tuesday night.
Yeah.
So last 2 days I've been clear of back pain, thank God.
Wow.
I've been cleared of back pain the last 2 days.
I can imagine what's going to happen if I get the booster shot. I might turn into a zombie or something.
That may have just been me too, Lou. So, that may have just been me too. So,
right.
But anyway, guys, how's everything going? How's everything going with you guys? Everything going good?
Going pretty good. I apologize. I'm having dinner here.
That's okay. No worries. No worries. Okay.
You turn into a cooking show later on. No.
Right. I've done cooking before. I do cooking. I've done cooking on my TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
Where I've got some topics, guys, other than, of course, the major five, the NFL, NBA, all that stuff. So let's start. I'm going to start with.
You want to start with the WNBA while I eat? I don't have any
NBA news actually this week.
Let's do tennis. The Australian Open's going on.
Yes.
I do have tennis news. Hang on just a second. Let me bring my tennis photo up here. I do have tennis news. I was going to actually talk about the Olympics too, because we're getting close to that as well.
Just in 2 weeks now.
Yeah. So let's do this, because I don't have either one of these. We'll start with this one right here.
Okay, there we go.
So yes, the Australian Open is currently going on in Roland Garros. There was other tennis news that I wanted to get to. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard too that Novak Djokovic could be out at the
French Open.
French Open
because of his unvaccination status. I think is what's
right.
It's keeping him out of action in both of those.
Hey, stupid! Yeah. What are you waiting for?
He's probably one of those people who believes that he doesn't need the shots. That's probably how.
Yeah, well, you'll regret that when if you do get COVID. Like, why not get the shot? Well, right now, buddy.
Well, on top of that, look how much money you're missing out on too. I mean,
exactly.
He can win majors. I mean, crying out loud, he's been one of the best male tennis players in the world for the last decade. So why not?
Yes.
So I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see what he does. I mean, that's going to be
up to him.
I mean, he already lost out on the Australian Open. They deported him, so his days is over. So of course, no surprise there. After all that arguing and trying to get reinstated and whatnot, and just didn't go. The court wouldn't have it. Mm-hmm. Why am I not surprised though? I'm not surprised.
I was gonna say don't make it special for him.
No,
if you're gonna enforce the rules on everybody, then enforce it on him too. Mm-hmm. I understand he's the number one player in the world, but still,
rules are rules.
Everybody, rules are rules.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way. It's the way the sport has been set up. So, some sadder news to report on the tennis world. Hall of Famer Chris Everett has announced that she has been diagnosed with ovarian cancer. Pretty sad story there. Chris Everett was, a major female tennis player, for a long
in the 80s.
time. Yeah.
My favorite player.
Yeah, she's been. Let me see. Hang on a minute. I'll pull this article up real quick. I saw this earlier last week, or earlier this week, actually, because, again, I was home and I wasn't doing anything on Monday or Tuesday, so I was
right
to look up. It says Everett says that ovarian cancer is in stage 1C and she'll begin chemotherapy, which is good. It's not stage 4, so that's that's a bright spot. She announced that she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. Everett is currently working as an ESPN broadcaster during the Event currently works at ESPN as a broadcaster and revealed that she will be working from home during the ESPN's upcoming Australian Open coverage to undergo treatment. I wanted to share my stage 1 cancer diagnosis with the story beyond it as a way to help others. I feel very lucky that they caught it early and expect positive results from the chemo plan. And thanks to all of you for respecting my need to focus on my health and treatment plan. You will see me appear from home at times during the ESPN coverage of the Aussie Open. So she is going to be doing some at-home stuff. That's pretty cool, and it's kind of cool. Sometimes you look at stars like this who will tell them that they have a form of cancer, and people say, "Oh, they're just trying to draw attention to themselves." No, she's trying to make the people that do get diagnosed with this type of cancer that, hey, if I can fight and I'm taking chemo, so can you. So keep fighting, keep moving on, and stuff like that. So it's inspiration more than just one of those, oh, look at me type of things. Like a lot of people will point the finger at certain people for that. So, again, guys, it is good that's in stage 1. They caught it early. Thank goodness it didn't get into stage 4 because that's usually bad news, really bad news when you get to that point. Yes, thoughts and prayers to Chris Everett and her family. Definitely thoughts and prayers out to her. Let me
not to be confused with Jim Everett.
Yeah, you can go back and watch Jim Rome when he was about that.
I'd have stopped. You wouldn't have been able to pull me off of him.
No, the strange thing is, I remember that one actually happened.
I'd have beat the hell out of him.
Yeah, whoop ass.
Yeah.
Which also goes to show that I'm getting really old.
That's why I don't like Jim Rome.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no respect for Jim Everett. Or Chris Everett, for that matter. and disrespected him to his face and expected nothing to happen.
Yeah, right. That was for ratings on ESPN. You know that.
ESPN2.
Yeah, ESPN2. Yep.
Yeah. ESPN2. Which was very new at the time.
Right. Yeah, I want to say they had just
very young, and I was very young.
Yeah, they had just launched that channel not too long after that, before that incident happened. Yeah,
that's when we first saw My Eyes on Susie.
So the only Olympic news, guys, I have is it looks like to me, according to usnews.com, that NBC will not send any announcers to Beijing for the Winter Games. Well,
does that include Tirico?
Huh?
Does that include Tirico? Because I heard reports that Tirico, get this, was going to do the Super Bowl and the Olympics.
I can't. I'm not a Mike Tirico fan. Sorry.
Sorry.
That's okay.
But he was going to, of course, be there for in China for the Olympics. Then was going to fly to Los Angeles, I think, on that Thursday to cover the Super Bowl. And then after that, fly back to China to cover the rest of the Olympics.
Let me see what exactly the article.
Which I think is kind of nuts when you believe it, because you're going to get a ton of jet lag.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Hell yeah.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing. NBC is covering the Olympics, right?
Right, and the Super Bowl.
So how are you not sending any of your announcers over there? What are they going to do? Do it all from home?
From the Connecticut studio.
Okay.
Yeah.
They did that for the Summer Games.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Wings have been doing all their road games from the house. They
okay.
just
They offered to my house, but they wouldn't take the offer.
I know, right?
There's offer free beer and everything.
Yeah.
But no. NBC said, "That's all you're gonna give us? I've seen the size of your plates. It's too small a hole over here. Sorry." Well, it's good that it's time going home.
Yeah, indeed.
So, okay, well, then that's the case. Then, yes, I guess they will be covering it from the Connecticut studios and obviously having a live feed into Beijing.
I always love Sea Caucus.
It says NBC will not be sending announcers and most hosts to Beijing due to continued COVID concerns worldwide and China's strict policy about those who tested positive. It's the second straight games for which the broadcast teams will work mostly out of NBC Sports headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut. Okay, I did not know that, so that's new to me.
Just announced today.
I didn't know that. So it says that, NBC Olympic president Gary Zinkel is one of 250 people the network already has in Beijing. Most of those are technical staff. Okay, so they're okay. Well, you know what? If actually, in all reality, I'm not going to get too political on here, but I don't think I'd want to go to Beijing as an American. Just saying, I don't think I'd want to go over there and be, God knows what they're going to pull. Find something on you.
Yeah, that's been gone for 2 years now.
Keep you in China, as a political prisoner or whatever,
Right.
So, but yeah, so I saw that. I wanted to bring that up. So the Olympics start in a couple weeks?
February 2nd, Groundhog Day.
Okay. So yeah, we're a week away, a week away from that starting.
I don't know if the athletes see their show that's going to make any effect on spring coming sooner, but we'll have to wait and see about that. No.
Yeah.
Oh. Adam, why you can stop me from making an ass of myself? You could help too, The things I do on this show. You guys should check me out on Saturday. Oh, it's even worse.
Let's see. Oh my God.
I'm not sure. Somebody put him in charge.
I wanted to post this guy's up here. I'm not sure who this is.
Let me see.
It says, what's good? I don't know who this is. The user, and I can't.
It's good that you're watching.
Yeah, whoever said, that's what's good. Guys, thank you for watching wherever you are. We
think he's a Canadian.
Could be.
Hey.
But yeah, just to show that there. Guys, I have USFL golf. But yeah, to show that. Where do you guys want to go next?
I have
USFL
golf.
Where do you guys?
I want to. It was Phil Taylor who made that comment.
Oh, okay. I know.
So thank you for watching, Phil. Appreciate that. We can go wherever y'all want to go.
Yeah.
Phil's a fellow Florida Gator. So.
Aha.
Yeah, right here. That's what it goes. That's what it says. Bradley, it's Phil. Hell, glad you're still going, bro. Yeah, he was one of the guys that back when I was going to quit doing this, he was one of the guys that said, "Don't quit, keep going." So yeah, thanks.
We're glad you're still here.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've had days of that myself. When I had a couple of problems with that, I'm like, oh, what am I doing? Like no, stay in.
Yeah.
Stay the course. Let's do the USFL real quick.
Here we go.
Both of these are the head coaches. There's been 6 head coaches announced so far for the USFL. Excuse me, before I mispronounce that. Here are the 6 coaches that have been announced. 2 of them were announced today. Skip Holtz, who was a coach at USF.
That's familiar.
He will lead the Birmingham Stallions. Kirby Wilson, 36-year, includes 24 years as an NFL assistant, will lead the Pittsburgh Maulers. Mike Riley will coach the New Jersey Generals. Todd Haley, the former defensive offensive leader for the Steelers, will be the Tampa Bay Bandits head coach. Kevin Sutherland will be the Houston Gamblers head coach. And Art Andrus will be the Philadelphia Stars head coach.
So wait a second.
At all 6? Or is there...
here. I heard that Well, originally I heard that they were all going to play in Birmingham. So how are they going to have their team names like New Jersey, Philadelphia? That would all be playing Birmingham.
But they're not from Birmingham. They're only playing in Birmingham this year to save on between COVID and to cut costs, so that everybody doesn't have to cut down on travel costs. They're playing in Bradley. They're playing in Birmingham this year.
Even though they're gonna keep the names from the cities like New Jersey, Tampa, Cucamonga, or wherever, and
yes,
it's not a little weird because they're gonna play in one city, and you're gonna.
They're not playing, but they're not from that city.
I know, but it just seems kind of weird because they're gonna be playing in that location.
But they're only playing in that location for this year, starting next year.
Yeah,
starting next season, ideally, if they're going back, they're going to have home games in those cities.
But mind you, if it survives another year.
True. Yeah, Phil, by the way, the USFL is coming back. It's not really a new football league. It's coming back. The USFL is coming back this year in 2022. And the wonderful third time around the charm XFL is coming around in 2023, owned by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Nothing against him. I mean, I think he's a great business person for what he does, but good luck with running a league that has been shunned down twice.
Yeah.
So,
how much you learn anything from the AAF? I guess not.
Oh, that too. And let's not forget about that league as well. But yes.
I built it.
Yeah.
So fell down.
I was curious, Adam, about that myself, because again, if Ralph Garcia is watching this, my editor, who, I didn't write an article last week because I was so sore I didn't get a chance to write this past weekend. But I asked him, he goes, "Can you cover the Bandits?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "But they're going to be playing in Birmingham, Alabama, and I'm not traveling to Birmingham, Alabama during their home games. I can try to watch them on TV or find a streaming service that airs them at home and give you analysis that way. But I'm not flying to Birmingham, Alabama." Now, if they were playing in Raymond James Stadium, sure, I would go to Raymond James Stadium. But next year.
Spring 2023 there, if I understood correctly, and don't quote me, I could be wrong, but what I'm understanding from my understanding is that they wanted to cut down on travel costs this year.
Of course.
So they're only playing in one city, and plus, and because they weren't going to be allowed to have, because with the different COVID rules in every particular location, they wouldn't be able to necessarily have full stadiums everywhere.
Right.
They just decided to have their inaugural season in Birmingham and be done with it. And then starting next year, they're going to go to those places where they're originating.
Why would they choose Birmingham, though? Any particular reason why they chose that city?
Why not? Because Birmingham or Huntsville should have an NFL team. Why they don't, I don't know. I mean,
I could say maybe Nome, Alaska or whatever, but
and yes, answer your question. The Bandits were one coached by Steve Spurrier. Yes, and they were.
Okay, I didn't know if they were or not. So
they were. They were back in the day.
Offhand.
And they played at.
I'm not as young as I look. I remember when the USFL was around before. I'm not as young as you think I am.
You're certainly older than you look, though.
They played at Tampa Stadium. Old Tampa, in the old Sombreros, what they used to call that stadium. That was school bench seats. So
they came and went away when you were what, 3? Is there 5? When was the last
16. 16, wise guy.
What year did the USFL fold?
They folded.
I was 4. I was 4 years old in 87. Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were 84.
The league officially stopped playing at the end of the 85 season, but they went through the court battle and everything, and finally say, after only being awarded after $1 measly dollar, which could be a bargain these days, they folded up, and that was the end of that. The problem is, though, that every time a spring league tries to come by, it usually fails within a year or two. I mean, look, you've had the USFL Part 1. Both changes at the World League. 1 year with U.S. teams involved. The next format was NFL Europe. What do you want to call it?
Yep.
I remember XFL. Yes, XFL Part 1 and Part 2 which part 1 was bad enough. That was considered a joke.
Yeah.
And obviously, they didn't learn your lesson, so you had to do a part 2. You still haven't learned your lesson. So you want to do a part 3. Why? I have no idea. Other than why can't you accept that you suck and you're just a pathetic league? And of course, don't forget the ever popular AAF, which only lasted about 30 seconds.
All right.
You see, they're trying to make a comeback. No, I don't think so. They're playing it smart.
I want you guys to read this comment right here.
I was getting ready. I was fixing the comment on it. That's pretty cool. You'll have to take a picture of that and share it in the Facebook group so we can all see it there.
Yeah, Phil, do that. If you have a picture of it, please share. I'd love to see what piece of Tampa Stadium you have, because I'm curious what piece you have.
I think the statute of limitations has run out on that.
Oh yeah.
It reminds me of you're talking about all those defunct football leagues. It reminds me of that. Have you ever seen Monty Python's Holy Grail?
Yes.
I built it, and then it sank. It sank into the swamp and fell over. Then I built it again, and it sank into the swamp and fell over. Then I built it a third time, and it caught fire, sank, and fell over. But the fourth time, it stayed up.
But Adam, you always got to remember one thing. Oh, come on. You know where I'm going with this. Come on. Can we all do it together?
No one expects the Spanish Inquisition.
No, I'm not going. No, not that. No. You guys don't know, do you? Oh, boy.
I'm not sure.
Remember? Always look on the bright side of life. I told you I was going to do it. Oh, boy. And you clear those fans.
Okay, thank you. I needed a song for next week's promo video.
That'll work.
Yes, there you go. See that? See that's our that's that. There you go. Right.
Oh
there.
man, the last two promo. Last week's video was so much better than the first one. The first one was excellent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what do we got in the world of NASCAR? Do you see they got the asphalt all laid in LA?
Yes, I saw that. I was gonna say that was something that I was gonna touch. It said something about in AutoWeek.com. It says Carnage when NASCAR invades Los Angeles Coliseum. That was the title of the article.
I think so. I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe not. It's quite
when is that race anyway?
February 6th, my birthday.
It's coming up in the next couple of weeks.
We get the Pro Bowl.
The Daytona 500 is what? The 20th, right? The 20th, of February?
Yes.
Yeah. So the NASCAR season's right around the corner from starting up.
The unofficial start of spring.
Hey, it's a piece of history, dude. It's still if I could have gone to Old Tiger Stadium and got me a seat, or if I could have got a seat out of the Pontiac Silverdome, or if I could have got a seat out of the Joe, or just even a piece of concrete, and even if it was if it was only that big around, man, it would still be cool to me.
Now, was that when the Tigers were good?
This when the Bucks the Bucks never won a championship in that stadium. They didn't even come close. Oh no, they came close, but they never won one.
What, 97?
Well, they won. They were in the NFC Championship against the Arizona Cardinals or Phoenix Cardinals back then. It was Phoenix back in the day, but they were there. But they didn't. Not until they moved to Raymond James Stadium did they win their first Super Bowl championship in 2002.
Yes,
and then of course they won last year. They're the defending champions as we speak.
Good again.
The other thing,
go ahead. Sorry.
From ESPN.com, it says Dale Earnhardt Jr. enter NASCAR Hall of Fame with his father in mind. I'm not sure what that means.
Why wouldn't it be on the forefront of his mind?
Well,
his dad is.
Dale Sr. I understand.
His dad reached godhood status the moment he died. He was ascended the moment he died. You would be hard pressed to find a NASCAR fan that has anything negative to say about his
father.
I wouldn't say anything negative about him.
I wouldn't either.
No,
I wouldn't either.
Not at
all. Father, actor, and when he didn't. I'm sorry, I keep dropping for whatever reason. Apologize. They didn't like the old man when he was alive. But the moment he died, and in the way he died, it was a blow. And the
Of course, it's not going to let me open that up, is it?
Well, why they were like he was alive though? That's what I want to know. I mean, his ceiling was very well respected.
No.
Well, at the
you don't get the nickname the Intimidator for nothing.
I was gonna say, remember, at the end of the day, now he won a lot of races, and people don't hate a loser; they hate the winner.
Yeah, and he was. We talked about it on the show before. He was the embodiment of chaotic evil. He didn't give a shit.
Yeah,
he could be half a lap ahead of you, and just dump you. He could be a half a lap behind you. He could be a lap down, running 23rd, and spin you out just as easily as he could be battling you for first.
I guess Richard Petty was liked.
Well, but Richard Petty was a different breed. Richard Petty lost just as much as he won. Richard Petty was the son of royalty. Richard Petty was a god amongst men before there were God amongst men in NASCAR. Richard Petty is and was the king, King Richard, because
definitely
of what he did and who he was. Richard Petty was larger than life.
Yes.
And when Dale Sr. came on the scene, in the mid to late 70s, he was an everyman. Just a country bumpkin, never made it past 8th grade, and made it big, made millions of dollars made anybody and everybody feel like, if he can do it, maybe I can do it. Mm-hmm. And up until the point where he died, if you were a fan of anybody else, there were two things you wanted to know before February 18th, 2001. The two things you wanted to know when you turned a NASCAR race on was, where was your driver and how far behind him was Earnhardt. Because you knew if Earnhardt got to him, he was going to get him. Earnhardt was just as likely to dump you as he was to pass you clean. You didn't know. The embodiment of chaotic evil. He wasn't a dirty driver, but he wasn't afraid to do what he needed to do to get that next spot, to get that next win. And until the day he died, which is what made his death all the more tragic. The other 700 some odd races that he ran up until that point, he would have never blocked on the last lap. He would have been right up there behind whoever was running. If he'd been running third at Daytona, coming to the checker, he'd have been making some kind of crazy ass bonsai move to get up underneath second and try to get and try to slingshot and use. He'd have come down in front of Sterling Marlin to pick up the momentum to get that push to go underneath Earnhardt going into 3 and slide up in front of Earnhardt Jr. and get down in front of Waltrip for the win. And that's what makes Dale Earnhardt so unique and as a sports figure, is that and that's what makes auto racing such a unique sport. Is the fact that just as much as you're competing against the other teams, you're also have a vested interest in what the other teams do. Like Ovechkin, I got Bruins Washington on tonight, right? For one of an example. Ovechkin couldn't give two shits about the Boston Bruins. He's not going out there blocking a capital shot, or you only in the other 4 major stick and ball sports in America, you only play against one opponent at a time.
Yes.
In auto racing, you're battling 43 or 40 or 25 or 2
at once.
When there's more than 2 guys out on the track, you're battling you're competing against everybody on the track, and you're racing the elements, you're racing the track, and you're racing the other 40 some odd competitors every day.
It's more like a typical day. It's kind of like more like a typical day in the Garden State Parkway. Oh dear.
I also have an article, guys, from The Athletic ranking the 38 NASCAR Cup Series races ranked by interest level.
And
I'm going to start from the bottom and move up, and you can tell me if you agree with them or don't agree with them.
Hold on. I need to back you up because I froze again. So what did you had a question for me, Lou? I wanted to get you your question.
No, it was a bad joke. I said it was like a typical day in the Garden State Parkway. Yeesh.
Oh yeah. So it's the rush hour on the 405, man.
Right.
It's bumper to bumper at $1. It's bumper to bumper at $1.90. So
Yeah. Actually, it starts 305 here.
Yeah.
Yeah, 405.
The 405's in LA.
Right. I meant the time.
Yeah. Okay, so you got another.
Yeah, this is the 38 NASCAR Cup Series races ranked by interest level. I'm going to start with going from bottom to top. So I'm going to start
starting at number 38.
38 is
shotgun on the field.
All-Star race at Texas, which is in May 22nd.
Yeah.
Yes.
Number 37 is Kansas.
That's a playoff race.
Yeah.
That's always an exciting race.
Richmond 2, August 14th.
Richmond
should be a fun one.
Pocono.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I was gonna add a comment on there. If you don't mind, I'd like to throw a little comment on each one. Richmond could be a fun race depending on when they run it. If that race starts off in the afternoon, like if they start that race off at 5:00 and it gets into the evening and that track starts out hot and it goes cool, that could be a lot of fun. Okay, go ahead.
Well, it says the Richmond one. It says this race spent 14 years in the regular season cutoff spot. Then it got moved into the playoffs. Now it's on a Sunday afternoon in August. Yikes! What can you say?
Oh, that's gonna be a fun race. That track's gonna be nasty. It's gonna be hot and slick, and it's gonna be miserably hot.
Burn rubber.
Oh yeah, just sign me up for that one. Go ahead.
35 is Pocono, July 20th.
Pocono's a trash track. Hate Pocono.
Okay. Number 34 is Michigan.
I love Michigan. I can't say anything bad about Michigan.
33 is the Indianapolis road course on July 31st.
I'd like to see. I can't wait. I'm excited to see the second iteration of the Indianapolis road course. It was fun last year. Let's see what happens.
32 is Atlanta 2, July 10th.
The Atlanta repave with the new configuration. I can't wait to see another Atlanta race.
Number 31 is the Bristol Dirt Track on April 17th.
I hate dirt racing. I have no interest in dirt, and NASCAR running a dirt race is really annoying to me.
Yeah.
Number 30 is Richmond number 1 on April 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
That's Mother's Day weekend. I think that's Saturday night race. I like Saturday night.
Hey,
Saturday night short track, beating and banging. Sign me up.
Cranking the top 20, cranking the top 30. Number 29 is Dover on May 1st.
Mm-hmm.
I like Dover.
Number 28 is Darlington 1 on May 8th. First race in Darlington.
Darlington is such a... Oh, the Lady in Black, how can you go wrong?
27
weekend.
Road America in Wisconsin on July 3rd.
Last year's iteration of Road America was all right.
Okay. Number 26 is Nashville Super Speedway, on June 26th.
It was pretty. It's pretty average. Neither here nor it was. That's probably a good spot for it.
Number 25 is New Hampshire on July 17th.
New Hampshire's hit or miss.
Yeah.
Number 24 is the Coca-Cola 600 on May 29th.
I can't wait to see this year's iteration of the Coke 600 with the new cars and the low downforce, high horsepower. Should be fun.
The triple play.
Yeah, I hope they move Monaco back to Labor Day weekend this year.
Monaco for breakfast. For lunch, and Coca-Cola 600 for dinner. For
23 is Sonoma on June 12th.
I like Sonoma. I like the traditional road courses of NASCAR, Sonoma and Watkins Glen. So
Watkins Glen. Oh,
I love Watkins Glen.
Watkins Glen is number 22 on August 21st. That's the next one.
Nightmare course. It's a nightmare course.
I love. Yeah. Some. That's where JD McDuffie lost his life in '91.
Yeah,
the Bud shootout at the Glen.
More recently too. I'm not a big fan of that race at all.
Jimmy,
I think he may have froze up again, Luke.
Yeah. Was it something?
Yeah.
Jimmy's and that was back before they had paved turn 1.
Right.
There was still a sand trap down there.
Yeah.
His brakes gave out, and he was going into turn 1 at 190.
Ouch.
Yeah. Look it up. It's a vicious hit.
Number 21 is the first race at Phoenix on March 13th.
Phoenix is a tone setter. I like Phoenix.
Number 20 is Las Vegas, the first race in Las Vegas on March 6th.
I'd switch Vegas. Vegas is hit or miss.
Yeah.
Number 19 is the Circuit of Americas.
Circuit of the Americas. It's in Texas. It's in Austin. As long as it doesn't rain this year, it should be a fun race.
Kansas number 2 is on September 11th.
Oh wow. Okay, maybe that's the Kansas playoff race.
Yeah. Oh, it's a Sunday this year. That's right.
Yeah.
Texas 2 is on September 25th.
Which is a playoff race. Yeah.
Yeah.
Martinsville, the first one in Martinsville is April 9th.
Can't go wrong with that.
Love Martinsville.
Number 15 is the first race at Talladega on April 24th.
The spring Talladega race.
Number 14 is the first trip to Atlanta on March 20th.
I'm excited for the first trip to Atlanta.
Yeah.
13 is on Fontana on February 27th.
The last race at Fontana in that current configuration. They're going to tear it down and make a short track out of it next year.
Okay.
Number 12 is in St. Louis on June 5th.
St. Louis?
So
that's right. They're going.
Always seem to have some juice.
Right, yep. I heard about that too.
They're going to Gateway. Yeah.
Gateway.
Yep.
Go ahead, bud.
Oh no, I was just trying to figure out what St. Louis was. Like I had forgotten that they had announced that they were going to Gateway, this year.
Number 11 is the playoff race at Las Vegas.
Las Vegas race. Yeah.
Number 10 is the Southern 500 on September 4th at Darlington,
which is the opener to the playoffs.
Number 9 is the second trip to Daytona on August 27th.
This is the second to last race this year, I think. Or no, it is the last race. It is the last race because they moved the Watkins Glen to the week before. Number
8 is in Homestead on October 23rd.
That's a playoff race.
Number 7 is the Charlotte Roval.
Yeah, Roval. It's a road course oval.
October
they run both the road. They run the infield road course, and then turns 1 and they use turn 1 of the road of the oval, and then they run through the infield and go back out and use turns 3 and 4 of the road of the oval, and then they go down through the inner loop on the front stretch and come back out onto the front stretch banking.
Number 6 is Talladega, the second race in Talladega on the 2nd.
The Talladega playoff race. It's
a
great race. I've been to that. I'd like to go back.
Number 5 is Bristol, the night race at Bristol on September 17th.
Which is the Bristol playoff race.
Number 4 is Martinsville, the second trip on October 30th, the day before Halloween.
Yep, that's the playoff race. Should be the second to last.
And here are the top 3. Phoenix, the playoff race in Phoenix on November 6th is in the 3 spot. So who do you think is the number 1 and number 2 spots?
Number 2, in both Talladega races. So number 1's got to be the 500.
Nope, number 500 is number 2.
So what's number 1?
What?
The race you just started the whole NASCAR conversation with. The Clash in Los Angeles.
No.
That's what it says right here. It says, as of a debut, a NASCAR game-changing next-gen car isn't enough. This is proof of a concept rate for potential stadium events in the future if the LA Coliseum race goes well. The impact could go well beyond this season and open the door for all sorts of venues. Maybe it'll be a flip, but if so, what? This is a once-in-a-lifetime event to attend, assuming you weren't around a 1986 NASCAR race at Soldier Field. Either way, I'm extremely curious about what's going to happen and the setting itself will add the excitement and anticipation for next season. Now, again, this is this guy's opinion. This is Jeff Gluck, who writes for The Athletic. So I'm giving you his 38 races by what he feels by that. Me personally, and I'm biased, I'm going to say the Daytona 500 because I live in Florida. Yeah. So I would be biased at that point, but that's just me.
So, but true.
But that's the 38 NASCAR races by interest level. Maybe that's his interest level. I don't know if that's an all-around interest level for a lot of fans, but
yes. I think that the clash has a chance. Is going to be a shit show, honestly.
A shit show?
Yeah, that's
we'll find out in a couple weeks, won't we?
Yeah.
We can talk about it that Thursday if you want to.
Right.
Thursday after the second. We could
I don't know when. I don't know if and when they're going to have practice. Probably Friday. That Friday going into the event. Right.
Well, I will go ahead, guys. I'm going to shift to golf. I don't have a lot of golf news, but I do have some, mentioning a former PGA Tour professional now is making his Champions Tour debut, and that would be one David Duval. I'm assuming you guys know who David Duval is.
Yes,
he is making his Champions Tour debut, so this is his second chance at his golf career. Phil Mickelson has started to play Champions Tour events because once you turn 50, you are eligible to play on the Champions Tour. Mm-hmm. So a lot of these guys that have been around that I grew up watching as a kid and now have, gone older and won, many majors, are now playing on the Champions Tour. So
now, question: if you were to win a Champions Tour event, would that count to your PGA total?
Yes, it does.
It's
all around. Yeah, I believe it does. So what you're saying is, if Tiger is to win on that tour, will it count towards his win total? Yes.
Yeah.
It can. Tiger hasn't yet announced when he's going to go to the Champions Tour, or if he will. I don't know, but I mean,
because I think he's only 45.
Yeah.
Well, on top, what I'm saying is, you don't think that he would redominate that tour all over again. I think he would. I think he would do exactly if his back will be able to hold up to what he. And I don't think he'll play as many events as he did when he's on the PGA Tour, but still, I still think he's got a legitimate shot at, winning many, having a good run on that tour too. So we'll see. A young man named Aske Batillo he's a young 19-year-old, won his first Corn Ferry Tour event. Now that is the kind of AAA to the PGA Tour. That's where you play when you're not on the PGA Tour. You can go there, play, and make money, and get your card and earn your PGA Tour card at that point. And the only other golf article I had was Rory McIlroy is switching drivers, kind of similar to the way that what Tiger did. Now, as we all know, they can do whatever they want to do. They can, they're sponsored by somebody, but they can get a driver similarly made by somebody else, or some other specs on a driver can be given to their driver, or vice versa. We don't have that as amateur players. We don't have that option, but they do. They can go and do, I like how the new tailor-made so-and-so driver feels. Oh, okay, what's the specs? Then they make a Callaway driver or whatever driver you're sponsored by. Now that driver's got the same specs as the other one.
We just don't have the money to.
Well, yeah, that's true. They're getting paid millions of dollars. Yeah, to do it.
I'm sure that if some executive from IBM walked into Callaway and said, "Hey, I like how the I don't know, the Nike clubs. I like the feel of the Nike clubs. Can you make me one?" They'd be like, "Yes, sir. It'll be $150,000." And he's like, "Here's a check."
I was gonna say, yeah, here's a check for you. Yeah, yep.
Mm-hmm. So I think the average golfer doesn't really. I don't think the average. I don't think that the average, a guy that breaks 90 on 80 or on 18 is going to pick up that much from a specially designed club.
No, I would wholeheartedly agree with you on that. I think if you're going to have clubs made to you. I know they say once you reach a certain age, you can start having clubs made to you if you can afford to have the clubs made to you now.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people can't afford to have clubs made to you like that. But, some of them can. So, real quick, guys, I'm going to jump into the NBA. Is there anything out there that you guys pointed out to you or anything like that that's jumped out other than is Frank Vogel on a hot seat in Los Angeles? Is that a something we can talk about as far as is he on the hot seat? The Lakers.
Well, the Lakers have improved recently. They're in the playing game now. So I don't know if Vogel's, really hot seat much he was to say about a week or two ago, but apparently he's still in that department.
Well, here are the NBA power rankings. The most recent ones. They have the Suns at 1, the Heat at 2, the Grizzlies at 3, the Warriors at 4, the Bulls at 5, even though I know they lost. Lonzo Ball got hurt. The Cavaliers at 6, the Mavericks at 7, the 76ers at 8, the Nets at 9, the Bucks at 10, the Hornets at 11, the Jazz at 12, the Nuggets at 13, the Celtics at 14, the Wizards at 15, the Raptors at 16, the Timberwolves at 17, the Knicks at 18, the Hawks at 19, the Lakers at 20, Clippers at 21, Trailblazers at 22, Pelicans at 23, Pacers at 24, Pistons at 25, Rockets at 26, Spurs at 27, Thunder at 28, Magic at 29, and the Kings round out the 30 teams in the NBA. So I guess they have the Kings as the lowest. I can't believe that they don't have the Magic at number 30, but that's just my opinion.
They should. 8-38 ranking. Ugh, awful.
The funny thing is they always ask the question is, would basketball survive in Tampa Bay? I don't think it would.
No.
I don't think it belongs in
Probably
Tampa.
Not, no.
I think if it stays in Orlando, that's fine. Stays in Miami, that's fine. I mean, either way, it's fine by me.
I wonder about the Nets though, because with KD out now for 4 to 6 weeks, that could be a problem right there.
Could you see Orlando getting moved to Vegas?
I can see
that's a possibility. That's a possibility.
Hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised, but if that happens, I wouldn't be surprised at all if that didn't happen. And would that hurt my feelings any? Not at all.
No.
Not at all. It would not hurt my feelings at all. It would hurt.
Once franchises now reduced to rubble.
It would hurt the economy in Orlando a little bit, but there they have all the theme parks. They're not going to lose their tourist dollars because the Magic are not there. They're not losing tourist money with the Magic not there. Let's dive into Major League Baseball. Again, there hasn't been much talked about with the negotiations going on. Obviously,
right.
They have been
negotiations.
They have been meeting. I have seen things popping up on all my sports apps that they are talking. Now, I don't know what is going on in those talks, but at least they're making some kind of. I do have a YouTube video that I wanted to watch, and let me hang on just a second. I'm going to go to my watch later here and give you guys the. I'm not going to play the video.
Right. Because
it says why baseball will be canceled in 2022. The channel is known as Baseball Doesn't Exist. It's a 60-minute video. I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to watch it after, and we can talk about it next week if you guys want to. There's one thing that I wanted to talk about today, and I want to reach out to a esteemed owner named Stu Sternberg. I hope you're out there listening, Stu, because Major League Baseball told you to go fuck yourself today with the whole two-city thing. Guess what? MLB turned it down, asshole. Yes. You're not going to have Montreal and St. Pete.
Half the year.
So now, it's a good idea anyway.
So find another way around it, dumbass, because that's exactly what happened. So sorry, I had to use the profanity there, but I wanted to get my point across.
It doesn't make sense anyway.
So
yeah, we talked about it when you first proposed it. As being a stupid ass idea.
Yep. So that went through today.
The council's made a stupid ass decision.
So now, so he came out earlier this afternoon in a press conference and said something along the lines of that he's not going to spend money on a new stadium because he knows if he puts money into a stadium, the team will be he'll fill it for 1 year, and then after that it'll be empty again. He wants to have at least guaranteed 20,000 fans in the stadium every game, every home. So I think the Rays fans can do that. The only issue with Rays fans is, unfortunately, unlike our teams that we cheer for, Lewis, the Yankees, the Red Sox, we have generations of people who have cheered for those teams.
Yes.
And the Tigers as well, and Adam's team as well, the Tigers. You have teams, those teams have been around forever, for a long time. Yes. The Rays came in 1998. They're a very, very young franchise. Their fan base is very, very young. They don't have generations of baseball fans.
No.
They don't have hundreds of years of history behind them, like the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Tigers and all of the above. So we'll see.
Because they're such a winning franchise now, but they still can't draw anybody. That's the sad part.
Yeah. Well, the major reason they can't draw anybody is because where the stadium is located. That's what they keep saying. So,
and the fact that those three teams are the three teams that we mentioned, the Tigers, the Sox, and the Yankees, their fan base takes them with them when they go.
Yes. Yep.
Like there are millions of baby boomers who retired to Florida and moved to the St. Petersburg and Tampa Bay area. Yes. And they, their kids grew up Sox fans and Orioles fans and Tigers fans, like all the when the Midwest, when all the baby boomers left the Midwest and headed south, they stayed Tigers fans or Yankees fans, or Reds fans, and their kids and grandkids grew up rooting for Grandpa's team or Dad's team,
right?
Or if they, like Bradley, what year was the Tampa Bay's first year?
1998.
98
when the Rays were invented. The Lightning came in 92. So the Lightning were 6 years prior to the Rays becoming a
Yeah. By the time 98 rolls around, you're already a well-established Red Sox fan.
Yep, I sure was.
So there's no way they're not getting you to switch allegiances. And so some 20 years later, the Rays haven't established themselves as a premier franchise that you should root for on a day in and day out basis. Mm-hmm. They haven't had the long-term success. They didn't start out hot. They were good for 2 years and then went right back into the crapper.
Yeah.
They made one World Series. Well, sorry, 2 World Series now.
Yep, they made 2.
And lost both of them.
Yeah.
And looked terrible in the first one and mediocre in the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would say out of the 2 of them that they've made, the second one was definitely a better appearance by them than the first
absolutely.
One. Right.
Yeah.
But they didn't come close in the first one. And then they didn't go back for a decade.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was a long time.
And there's no way to establish a fan base if you're not winning.
Yeah.
Without the pedigree of being a winning team.
Yeah. Yep.
You can be like if the Yankees were to go on a skid for 10 years where they didn't win anything, like if they were terrible, or the Red Sox
before.
In the 80s, they went on a bad streak for a while where they weren't that good.
In the mid 70s, the Yankees were terrible.
Yeah.
Right.
And through the 80s, they were mediocre.
Oh yeah.
But the second they started winning in the 90s, they packed that sumbitch full. Look at how terrible the Cubs were for decades.
Oh yeah.
So terrible. And yet on a Wednesday night in July, 30,000 people in the stands. Saturday afternoon, 45,000 people in the stands.
Yes.
They packed that sumbitch full.
Yep.
On a weekly basis. And yet the as we talked about on the show more times than we can count on one hand now. St. Pete isn't a good place to have a stadium. There's nothing to do. There's nothing there's nowhere to go. It's an old, falling apart piece of shit barn. Tropicana Field is not a nice place to go, from what I've heard.
Nope, it isn't. It isn't.
It's falling apart.
I see.
So I mean, if you ever, well, either if one of you come down here, let me know, and I'll take you to a Rays game if it's during baseball season,
right?
And I'll show you the difference between Yankee Stadium and what's Tiger Stadium called now?
Comerica Park.
Comerica Park.
Mm-hmm.
What it would be like to go to one of those parks. I've seen the outskirts of Comerica. I took a tour of the old Yankee Stadium before they tore it down and built it. And I've been to Fenway. The only old historic ballpark that I have not been to is obviously Wrigley Field in Chicago. I haven't been there yet. I want to go there. That's one of my stadiums I haven't visited yet. And I want to go to Baltimore as well, to Camden Yards. That's another stadium that I want to go visit. But yeah, I mean, obviously we all know that the pressure, this is Ken Rosenthal, who writes for The Athletic, said that the pressure is mounting. The MLB cannot afford to lose any games this season. We all know that that's true. We all know that they can't afford to lose games. We know that. You know,
the MLB?
Yes, yeah. Well, that's what he's saying. Again, Rosenthal, writing that.
Oh, yeah.
And then again, I saw something today that there are a couple female people that are breaking in. Looks like Rachel Levesque, if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, will be the first female minor league manager. She's been hired for the Tampa Tarpons, who is a Yankee organization in Florida. Yes. She's been hired as a manager. Genevieve Beacom is the first woman to play in the ABL, the Australian Baseball League, at 17 years old. Holy crap. Good for her. Sarah Gadrum is the Astros Director of Player Development. She was hired in January of this year, actually this year as we speak.
Right.
And then Kim Wang is the first female general manager for the Florida Miami Marlins. Alyssa Nakin is the MLB's first woman major league coach with the San Francisco Giants. She's one on Gabe Kapler's staff. Rachel Fulton is the hitting coach for the Chicago Cubs. She was hired in 2019. So you could see, again, I think we were talking about that last week, how women are starting to break into sports that they were not supposed to break into. That's kind of, I think, the gestural effect of everything is that they're breaking into, of sports. Let me go ahead now. We will shift to the National Hockey League before we can switch to and the NFL, obviously. But the National Hockey League, it looks like the NHL is preparing to end asymptomatic testing for COVID-related things.
I saw that.
So that is that. I know that they announced, let me see what else. I have two articles, guys. Oh, okay. These are the last three players to be added to the All-Star game. Yep. That would be Nazem Kadri, Steven Stamkos, and who else am I forgetting here? Okay, and then so it's Avalanche forward Nazem Kadri, Tampa Bay Lightning forward Steven Stamkos, Anaheim Ducks forward Troy Terry, and New York Ranger forward Mika Zibanejad, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, has declined his All-Star spot. He's going to forego his All-Star spot, and I'm assuming that it's probably for rest or probably for family reasons. So if that's we're all wholeheartedly, that's awesome. And if it doesn't mean anything to him to play in the All-Star game, then if he wants to have someone else fill that spot, go for it.
Someone who's going to have more fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, why not? Why have
you only get during the season, you only get a handful of long rest periods. You're going to have more than a day or two off. So
right. And it looks like also the Bruins are going to retire Willie Reed's his number 2.
Yeah, they retired it the other night. Yep.
Hand in the rafters there Is it T&D Garden? That's what it's called now. T&D Garden? Yeah, in Boston. Let me go ahead and
TD Bank.
TD Bank, that's right. When I went to Boston, I never went into the arena, but I walked by it. It's in the northern end of the let's see here. Fleury not concerned with trade deadline. Eichel could be at another month or two. Ooh, that's interesting. Sabres, Subban has surgery. He's out for the season. So that's not PK. That's his brother, Jordan Subban.
Yeah, Malcolm.
Malcolm. So right now in the third period, the Bruins and Capitals, I think you're watching that game. It's tied at 2.
I am.
Okay.
Yep, that's the game I
The Sabres lead the Stars 4-3 at the end of 2. Columbus is up 1-0 over Philadelphia in the third period. The Penguins lead the Senators 5-1 after 2. Nashville leads Winnipeg 3-0 after 1. And then the night games, the game that's about ready to start in Edmonton, would be the Florida Panthers, who are red hot in Edmonton to play the Oilers. At 9:30, you have the Avalanche on the road in LA to play the Kings. Montreal will play the Knights at 10 o'clock, and the Sharks will visit Seattle at 10 o'clock as well this evening. Let me go. Here are the standings so far for the season.
As we approach the All-Star break.
Right now in the Metropolitan Division, it's led by the Rangers. They have 56 points. Carolina is number 2. Washington is 3. Pittsburgh is 4. So they all have 50 or more points. Then it drops down. Columbus, Philadelphia, New Jersey, and the Islanders have 35 or less points. The bottom 4 have that. There's a big gap between 4 and 5. You're talking a 16-point gap between Columbus and Pittsburgh. In the Atlantic, the Lightning hold a 2-point lead over the Panthers. Toronto has 51 points. Boston has 46. Detroit has 41. Then it drops down. Buffalo's got 31 points. Ottawa has 24, and Montreal has 21. And then again, as you all know, that when it comes to wins and losses, more likely the teams have a high goal differential. Right now, the highest goal differential is the Carolina Hurricanes at a plus 45. The next one is plus 43. That's the Florida Panthers. So those two teams are respectively the scoring in their respective divisions. In the Western Conference, you have in the Central, you have the Avalanche on top. You have the Blues and the Predators tied at 51 points. Minnesota and Winnipeg are at 47 and 40. Then it's Dallas, Chicago, Arizona, and then the Pacific Division, which is where the Lightning will be playing the next 2 games. Vegas has 48 points. The Kings and the Ducks play the Lightning tomorrow night, 45 points each. The Sharks, who they play on Saturday, have 44 points. Calgary's got 42, and then it drops down. Vancouver 39, Edmonton 38, and the Seattle Kraken have 26. So the Kraken have only 2 more points than the Arizona Coyotes, who I think are the worst. No, Montreal has the least amount of points in the league. Montreal is now is in the bottom of the league.
Less proud franchises now down the tubes. Kraken,
they'll be back. They'll be back.
I was going to say, Montreal will be back. They don't go away very long. They'll be back. They'll be back.
They don't go away very long.
Going almost 30 years.
Wow. No Canadian franchises.
The Rangers have 29 years. So,
how long has it been since the Canadian teams won a cup? The last time the win was them. Yeah, Montreal, right?
We'll come close a couple of times.
So Montreal was definitely the last one.
Yep, 93.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, of course, because they're an expansion team, and you don't really expect expansion to do well their first year.
No, you don't.
Vegas was the exception.
Yeah, Vegas was an exception. Yep. I think you. We'll see where they're at in 5 years. We'll see how they're doing. Because it's too early to tell. And I watched one of their games a couple nights ago. They're a fun team to watch. I got a gorgeous uniform.
Seattle?
Yeah, they're. I think Minnesota is going to be they're going to be a tough out. They come back to beat Colorado 3-2. I don't remember if that ended in regulation or if they had to go to overtime.
The Wild, I think the Wild have turned that franchise around because they stuck a lot of money within 2 players. Now both those players are off their books now, and now they can focus on their future. Yep.
Well, that's how it was going 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I remember all those huge contracts 10 years ago. 8, 9, 10 years, 10-year, 80, 100, 120 million dollar deals. And like the shelf life of an NHL player is not that long. I was like, I'm looking at these massive contracts for it wasn't so much the money, it was the length.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm like, dude, I would, I got guys here with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year contracts. I'm like, let's do 5 and give them more money. Let's give them that same amount of money for 5 years, and then if we want to re-sign them, we can re-sign them to a 1 or a 2 or a 3-year deal at the end of that initial contract. And you guys getting in their second and third contracts, and they're 28, 29, 30 years old, and they've had, they've like Peruzzi and Suter. By the time you get, because those were the 2 that you had mentioned for Winnipeg,
right?
Oh, that's okay. That's where the next. Wait, no, that's next week. Never mind. Anyway.
I think he froze up again.
Yeah. And I thought I had problems with mine.
Yeah, but Ryan Suter was one of the 2 players that the Wild had a lot of money invested into. Yeah.
You end up signing a guy who's 32.
Mm-hmm.
You sign a guy who's 32 to a 6 or 7 or 8 year deal, and you expect him to play until he's 40? Are you kidding me?
Well, I mean, wasn't it a lot of people were getting a lot of 10-year contracts?
8 and 10-year deals, man.
Who was the goaltender for the New York Islanders?
Pietro.
There you go.
12 years.
Got a 12-year contract and only lasted 1 year.
Yeah.
1 season, and then that was it. Yeah.
Waste.
Yeah.
And I mean, at the time, Rick DiPietro was a great goaltender.
Yeah.
Yeah. But 12 years is a mistake to sign that long, especially when you know.
I mean, and and the bad thing is that if that works out, man, he's a genius.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I mean, I don't think I'd even send an 18-year-old kid to a 20-year contract. If you don't think it's even going to last those 20 years. I mean, like you said, I agree with you, but I think you sign somebody to a 5-year deal with the same amount of money you're paying the 10-year guy, and say, okay, I'll tell you what, we can, what we can do is the first 3 years of your contract will give you big money, and the last 2 years of your deal will give you less money, and if you for a player option for a 6th or 7th year in your contract, if you don't get to that 5th year, well, then we don't have to, we don't have to worry about
you guarantee
year 6 and year 7. Yeah.
So you take what would be a 5-year contract, and you guarantee all of that money up front. So let's say you're going $120 million.
Okay.
5 years would be $75 million. So you give him a 5-year, $120 million contract, guaranteed $75 million, regardless of whether if he gets hurt or whatever. Then at the end of that 5 years, you can reassess. Because if you get to that point where after 5 years he's still a good player, or even still a great player, like let's say Ovechkin. Let's say 10 years ago, the Capitals were looking to re-sign Ovi. You give him a 5-year deal, $120 million contract, $65 million guaranteed, and then if he doesn't make it to that 6th year, you're not out. You don't have that same. You don't have the problem with, like, let's say instead of signing him to a 10-year deal, let's say you send him to a 10-year deal, and after 5 years he's done. You ain't got to keep paying him $12 million a year to sit at home.
Yeah, correct.
Or eat or pay the buyout clause.
Yeah, because that's
and then you don't have him stuck there for 3 more years, and you can't move him because he has a no trade contract clause, and he has all this money he's guaranteed. You know, I just never understood those giant contracts that people were handing out from 2008 from 2008 to 2013. You know, I understand the money wasn't the big deal. Like, because I understand you getting paid and, you know, and wanting to pay good players. But what I never understood was the 8 and 10-year deals, man. What, you know, my thought was like, most of these guys are only going to play another 5 years. What happens when they don't make that 10th year? You know, they get into their 8th season and their goal production, when they're in their 5th year, their goal production, they scored 42 goals, had 65 assists, and 90 plus points. And they get into their 8th year, and they got their 20, 25, and 45. And their ice time goes from, you know, 18 minutes tonight to 12. And now you can't bring up any of your young guys to develop them and get them up, to teach them the speed of the NHL and how much faster. You know, college hockey is this fast. AHL is this fast. Right. And the NHL is somewhere up here. And you got all these guys in the minors who play in the minors for 4 years and can never see the NHL ice and learn how fast the game is and adapt their game to the NHL. Right. And then when they do finally get called up, they get run over.
Yeah.
And you got all these long-term deals and these bad if you leave,
it doesn't make any sense to do that. I mean, why would you sign for that long and they only last like about like a tenth of that whole deal?
After 5 years, because you were afraid of losing a guy.
Yeah. Well,
but it's always the money though.
But you know what? I'll be honest with you, Adam. That's it right there. What they're doing is why they sign these guys to long-term contracts is they're afraid that after a 5-year deal, if they end up working out the 5 years and they're good, they're going to go someplace else and get paid. You know, that's the big thing. Try to lock these. But then again, like you said,
but how many guys?
It hurts your young guys.
How many guys did we see get signed to those huge, like Suter and who was the other one in Parise? Suter and Parise in Minnesota. Yep. They both got 8 years, and after 4 years, they were both miserable.
Yeah,
they had gone. They weren't any good anymore. Hey, how many times have we seen it where they sign these guys to these massive contracts for extended periods, and then after 5 years, they're terrible? How many times have we seen that?
Well, either that, but a bunch.
Or they're hurt. Or they're hurt. You can't stay you can't stay healthy anymore. And they miss 40-man games.
Or that, or what it is, even if they're not hurt, the team is in such disarray, they don't want to play there. They want out.
Right.
They don't want to play for the organization anymore.
And then the organization can't move them because they make too much damn money.
Correct. And no one will stick on that contract. You're exactly right. Yep.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and move to the National Football League.
Yep.
As we end every show, usually on that topic.
We'll have to move the USFL into college football slot.
We can do that. Till August, when 7 months from now, we'll be back to talking college football.
When September begins.
So a lot went on this weekend. Obviously, we've gone down from 16 teams down to 8. I think there's 8 teams left now.
Yeah, quarterfinals.
But
4 games.
There's been some news. Obviously, anything outside of the playoffs, it looks like Deshaun Watson's settlement offer will continue to loom over the NFL this offseason. So obviously that hasn't been solved yet. Yeah. Bruce Arians got fined $50,000 for slapping his own player in the helmet, Andrew Adams.
Yeah, I'm gonna love tap.
He is obviously what's the word I'm looking for? I don't remember what the word is. He's disputing the charge. Yeah, appealing. There you go. Thank you. Appealing.
No problem. I thought it was kind of bogus.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't much. He was just trying to get his attention in a loud environment. I mean,
trying to get him to where he didn't fight the guy.
Where he didn't pull somebody off the pile and get a penalty.
Correct.
Yep. Maybe it was more aggressive. You ever been arguing with somebody, and it's a loud environment?
Yes.
And you start yelling because you want to be heard, and you're not so much mad as you are just trying to be heard, and then they snap back at you, in which that does piss you, and then now you're pissed off.
Yes.
Like, I kind of feel like that was the kind of the thing that happened, whereas he was trying to get the players' attention, and he couldn't be heard, so he got louder. And I think it looks way worse on video than it actually was. I think the video. I don't think that slap was all that much. And if that's enough to hurt an NFL player, they need to think of another line of work.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Andrew Adams was hurt by it. I think the NFL saw it as being really aggressive towards a player. Not like he grabbed him by his face mask and threw him on the ground or anything.
Right.
Hit him in the back of the helmet. I mean, the player had the helmet on. He hit him in the back of the head with no helmet on.
I think it was more aggressive than what he intended. But you get caught up in the moment, and so if you're trying to do 50% and you do 75%, it looks way worse than if you just committed to 100%.
Right. Yes. Correct.
I don't think he was actually trying to I think he was just trying to get his attention, trying to get in, and it's loud and it's raucous and and the crowd's into it, and so that makes it even louder, and it's a scrum. And he's just trying to protect his players.
Right.
That's a goal. And
no, I don't have any problem with it. I'll be honest with you. I don't have an issue with it. With what he did. So.
I just don't know. I mean, we complain about the media complains about that there's no personalities in sports anymore. Everybody's milquetoast. Everybody's a carbon copy. They all read the same copy and they all say the same things, and there's no personalities in sports. But the second you have a personality, you're getting fined.
Yeah. Bruce has been a personality in NFL for a long time too. Not like he's a new one. Not like he hasn't.
Yeah, and he's been, before. But he's always getting fined.
Right. Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
He says what's on his mind, and he talks and he says what he wants to say, and he does what he wants to do. And and yet he gets fined for it.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is it looks like the NFL asked Nevada court to dismiss lawsuit from John Gruden. So John Gruden obviously filed a lawsuit against the National Football League for
wrongful termination.
Yeah. So we'll see how
that going anyway. That's dead on arrival.
Yeah.
It'll get dismissed.
Probably. So we'll go back last week into the games. We'll start on Saturday, the game between Cincinnati and the Raiders. I remember I picked the Raiders to win. Cincinnati won. They held off Derek Carr and company.
What do you make of the whistle? Did you get
I guess that referee unit is no longer going to be able to referee any more of the playoff games because of that reason. So I hate to say it, when games should never be determined by an official, whether it's NFL, NHL, MLB, whatever sport it may be. That
college
referee, correct. Anything that has a referee or an umpire or whatever, it never should come down to a call made by a umpire or referee. And obviously, I think there are people out there that feel the Raiders got screwed.
Right.
But at the end of the day, the better team won. I mean, Cincinnati obviously was the better team in that game.
I mean, it wasn't like it was. I understand saying the refs cost us the game if it's literally the last play and they blew the call.
Right.
But when there's still so much football left to go play, or any sport for that matter, just buckle your chin strap up, shut out all the noise, just get after it.
Yeah. Yep.
You got to put that out of your mind and just move on to the next step. Yep, they missed the call. They got the call wrong.
Bad one too.
Here's my question: do the Raiders hire their coach that they've had, or do they go look for a new coach?
I don't know.
Because the rumor that I heard is that the job's been offered to Harbaugh. That's what I've heard on the radio rumor going around. But we have not heard from Jim at all. So I have a funny feeling that's just a rumor. Yeah. Because if we would have heard something from him by now, we haven't heard anything.
I've seen him. No. He's already out. He's out on the recruiting trail.
Yeah, then I don't think he's going to be head coach. Then.
If he was leaving, why would he be out there recruiting?
Yeah, stay in Michigan. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
You know, Michigan is this close to being back to where they want to be year in and year out.
Yep.
And
well, you got the monkey off your back in Ohio State. Now you got to get another monkey off your back and beat Michigan.
Beating and winning championships.
Right.
Georgia did it this year. You know, it's about building a program and moving forward.
Yep.
And it took Clemson.
Yeah.
8-10 years to get it turned around.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that I don't see Harbaugh leaving. Not now that he's gotten it back to where you 2 wins away, man.
I agree with you. Yep. Yeah, I agree. I don't think that he's gonna leave either. The other game on Saturday obviously was a blowout game. The Bills scored on every offensive possession that they had.
I did not see that coming.
So again, blowing out New England 47-17.
Yeah.
I think I turned the game off at the half because I knew it was over. The Patriots were not stopping them on defense. Mac they were driving down there. He threw a pick. So that was bad news. So, it was kind of a blowout at that point.
Right.
So, I mean, Buffalo, I think, is one
they
of the
couldn't
teams
score and they couldn't get a stop.
Nope. Buffalo was one of those teams that was favored to go to the Super Bowl this year anyway. So
yeah,
they're well on their way. Obviously, the next game, the first game on Sunday, also was a blowout. We were just talking about variants. The Buccaneers beat the Eagles 31-15. They had Jalen Hurts.
That was an easy victory. That was that. Yeah, there was no way the Eagles were going to beat Tampa Bay.
And let me ask you this question: how important is Mike Evans to the Buccaneer offense?
Huge.
How important is Mike Evans to that offense?
Way more important than AB.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Antonio Clown.
The next game, I thought the next game was the best game of the weekend, and that was San Francisco and Dallas.
That was a good game.
The, of course, controversial play at the end of the game where I don't know why you call a QB sneak with 14 seconds left with no timeouts. Yeah. But again, I'm not an offensive coordinator either. I'm not Mike McCarthy either.
No.
So I'm just asking that question. If you were going to do that, why not go out of bounds? Why would you slide in the middle?
I know. I think that I don't hate that call.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, it got them like 25 yards.
Yes, it did.
If he just turns around, hands the ball to the ref spots it, they get it spiked, and it's no problem.
Right, correct.
I mean, and then you've got one shot at the end zone, and you can take all the time,
Right.
You 3 wide, max protect, and let them run around out there until somebody can try and get open.
Correct. That is absolutely correct.
And so, I mean, I don't totally hate it because San Francisco wasn't ready for it, and they were down to like 23. And if he just turns around, hands the ball to the referee real fast, and the referee gets it spotted, as soon as the referee gets it spotted, gets out of the way, they can hike it and clock it, or if you look up and you see, I'm not gonna have enough time to spike it and get you just send everybody out. Yep. Send everybody on nines, on deep routes, and just scramble around and wait for somebody to come open and throw it in the end zone.
Yep. No, I agree with you. Actually, I was watching Get Up on Monday morning on Martin Luther King Day, and they were showing plays where Larry Fitzgerald will be a future Hall of Famer. I think we all can agree with that.
Absolutely should be.
He showed a couple times when they was playing with the Cardinals where at the end of the game he would grab the ball and run over to the referee and hand it to him. If somebody on that offensive line or any player for that, even Dak himself, would have ran over, gave the ball to him, spotted it, they would have had a chance to spike the ball and at least have another shot at the end zone.
Or if they you get the spike, there's 1 second. If I clock it, it's over. So you just pull it back, and you just call fire and have everybody run downfield, and you go schoolyard. You just go fire, 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 and everybody takes off on a fly.
Yeah,
and runs. You go old school schoolyard backyard football, and you run around in the backfield for 5 seconds while you let you guys try to get open.
Well, you could do the old Dan Marino thing where you fake the spike.
The fake spike, yeah.
You could do that too.
I'm not saying because like Dan Marino had time to actually spike it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. Okay, you look up, you get the snap. It's gonna be, if you try to clock it, it's not gonna go. You're not fake spiking it. You're making an audible mid spike because you don't have enough time to clock it and actually clock it.
Correct.
You have just enough time to set your feet, and you as you're coming back, you're yelling fire, and everybody's flying downfield, and you turn and you throw it in the end zone and throw it up for grabs because you might as well. What's it gonna hurt if it gets picked off? If it's incomplete or picked off, the game's over anyway. So you just throw it up and let somebody try and go make a play.
Correct. That's absolutely correct. And then the other game, the final Sunday night game was possibly Ben Roethlisberger's last game in NFL uniform.
Yeah, it was.
Highly likely.
He's done.
The Chiefs beat the Steelers 42-21 at home. Travis Kelce had a touchdown pass himself.
Yeah. It was the first receiver. It was the first tight end of the 100 yards, a receiving touchdown, and a passing touchdown in a playoff game.
Did you guys see what his mom did that day of that day? Okay, how crazy is this? Donna Kelce started in Tampa to watch Travis's brother play for the Eagles. She was in the stadium, watched the Eagles game, left Raymond James Stadium, went to Tampa International Airport, flew out of the airport to Kansas City to get there to watch Travis's game as the Chiefs played the Steelers. She was able to leave Raymond James Stadium. There was a 40-minute delay on her flight from Tampa to Kansas City, but she got on the plane and got there in the middle of the first quarter to watch the Kansas City Steelers game. How cool is that? She could see both her sons. And then she calls into the press conference, Travis Kelce's press conference, to ask him a question about his touchdown pass. How freaking cool is that? What a cool day for her. What a cool day for her for being able to see both her sons. And then I guess, would you guys consider the Monday night game also a blowout?
Oh, yeah. That was
4-11.
Expected.
Well, how would you classify the Arizona Cardinals this year? Would you say that they improved? Would you say that they were overrated? Say they were disappointed? What would you classify them?
Overrated.
Disappointing.
Okay.
Disappointing. They were bad down the stretch run.
Yep. Yeah, they
started on fire and then crashed.
They lost at the wrong time of the season. They took
there's a good time to lose, but they got cold going. They got cold down the stretch, and this is a make it or break it year for Cliff Kingsbury, 2022.
Oh yeah.
I agree with that. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and set this weekend's games. We will start on Saturday. We have the 4:30 game on CBS in Nissan Stadium, where I will be next month for a hockey game.
Right.
But it will be the Cincinnati Bengals at the Tennessee Titans in the divisional playoff. Okay. The line right now currently is 3.5-point favorite for the Titans. The over-under is 47.5. The weather's going to be 36 degrees at game time in Tennessee.
Any kind of weather? Any kind of precipitation?
No precipitation.
Okay, no precipitation.
No
windy.
No, but it looks like it's going to be partly cloudy. 36.
Okay.
Yep. No chance of meatballs.
No chance of meatballs. Good movie.
It's a great movie. I love that movie. No, I don't know. It's interesting. Because I think it comes down to quarterback play. As you know, most football games do.
Yes, well, I think if Burrow and Chase get hot, it's going to be rough sledding for that Titans defense. But if Derek, God, I always call him Travis Henry. Derrick Henry can get back to where he was at. It's going to be tough for the Bengals. So it's going to be like you said. It's going to come down to whose ever offense plays better.
Whichever quarterback plays better.
Right. Either you're going to have between Ryan Tannehill and Joe Burrow. Yep. Yeah, I agree with that. Who do you guys like? Do you like Cincinnati? Do you in the upset? Do you like Tennessee at home to continue on?
Remember the Titans.
I don't know. I don't want to pick this one because I like both teams and I would love to see them both win. It's so hard to say at this point in the year because everybody is so evenly matched.
Yeah.
I think the best 4 teams moved on last week. I'm gonna pick the Bengals.
Bengals, okay. You like them overall?
I like Joe Burrow and company.
You like them overall to win everything outright? The over-under being, you think the 47.5 will be?
Give me the Bengals. Give me the obviously give me the points, and give me the under.
The under, okay. Lou?
Yes.
I said the Titans, so
he said remember the Titans before I went on a babble. It's a hard one. It's a hard one.
I have to. I'm gonna go with Joe Burrow. I don't know what it is about.
I just don't trust Derrick Henry to be fully, to be healthy. In game shape.
Yeah,
he'll be healthy, but I don't know if he can be in. I don't know if he'll be in game shape, and that's what's got me worried. Is because Ryan Tannehill needs the safety. I mean, if Derrick Henry has 100 yards, I think that the Titans win.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that. Like I said, I like Cincinnati because I think if Burrow and Chase, who have been, and then you add in, Joe Mixon, and then that's not the only part of, not the only wide receiver that's hot for the Bengals either. And if the defense, who's played pretty well, I think if they can give Tannehill fit,
Mixon in the mix
with it, which they can.
Yeah.
I think they can beat Tennessee. Even on the road, I think they can beat Tennessee.
Especially if they can get up with a score or two early, and they can force Tennessee to have to throw the ball more and not be able to lean on Henry.
Right.
Such a tough. I mean, I think the best 8 teams are left.
Yeah. Well, the next one is the 8:15 game on Fox at Lambeau Field. Game time temperature will be 12. It's going to be windy. San Francisco at Green Bay. The line is 5.5 for the Packers. Over under 47.
Give me the Packers. Give me the over, and give me a blowout.
Okay,
exactly.
A blowout.
Running with the pack.
25-12.
I'm going to go with you guys. I'm going to go with you guys. I don't think San Francisco doesn't have enough.
You think it's going to be a massacre?
No.
Because
Jimmy G's thumb is really bothering him. That's gonna make it even worse. I get it.
It's cold and windy with potential for, of course, it's probably too cold for snow, but
still,
it's gonna be Arctic cold. You got a San Francisco team coming off an emotional win in Dallas. Green Bay by infinity.
Sort
of. Okay.
Green Bay. Give me Green Bay. Give me the points. Give me the over.
Okay.
It's gonna get ugly.
Mr. Rogers neighborhood now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bitch.
The Sunday early game has the Rams coming to the East Coast to play the Buccaneers at Raymond James Stadium.
Rams can win this game.
Game temperature is 60 degrees. The over-under is 48. The Bucs are a 3-point favorites.
Rams.
I'm going with Tampa Bay. I know I just opened this particular segment with the Rams can win this game.
Right.
The Rams can win this game.
Yes.
Will they? I don't think so. It's hard to bet against Tom Brady in the playoffs. Y'all did it last year. He ain't gonna win. He ain't gonna win. He ain't gonna win. And what'd he do? All I do is win, win, win.
And they're at home. On top of that,
and they're home.
The only fear that I have, the only fear, Bud, that I have with him is if Tristan Wirfs is out and you have Aaron Donald. That's the only fear that I have with them.
So overrated. God.
Well, but still,
I don't know.
He's a menace to the middle of that defense.
With Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Aaron Donald, J.J. Watt blew up the league, and people don't talk about him the way they talk about Aaron Donald.
Yeah,
exactly.
J.J. Watt ate quarterbacks for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and all but broke Michael Strahan's record. And people still act like Aaron Donald is something special.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's in there, but the Bucs have just as much too, because being a Lions fan, from being a Lions fan, if you rattle Matthew Stafford, which the Bucs have the defense to do that, he's gonna go. It'll be a turnover show.
Yep.
So
if the Bucs can get pressure on Matthew Stafford, it can get ugly early.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bucs too. I'm taking Tampa.
I'm taking the Bucs. The points. What's the over under?
48.
48. I'll take the under.
Okay. And the last game is at 6:30 p.m. on Sunday. It has the Buffalo Bills at Arrowhead to play the Chiefs. The line is 1.5 for the Chiefs. The over/under is 54.
What's the weather?
Game time temperature is 38 degrees.
Kansas City, here I come.
Taking KC.
KC, okay.
I'm on Buffalo.
I have a funny feeling the Bills are going to upset them too. I don't know why. Josh Allen's
I'm on Buffalo.
At a high level.
Allen's playing like a man possessed.
Yeah.
I'm on Buffalo.
Yeah. So then that means right now it would be, Lou, you have Tennessee and Kansas City in the AFC Championship game.
Yes,
and the Rams and the Packers in the NFC Championship game.
Yes.
And me and Adam have the Bills and the Bengals in the AFC Championship game, and the Packers and the Bucks in the NFC Championship game. So
yeah,
see how that all plays itself out.
Right. I'm looking forward to it. You know, I was thinking about this afternoon. I was at work and I was thinking about how we're down to the we're at the quarterfinals now, and it feels like just last week we were at the quarter pole. I mean it.
Right.
Yeah, it's it. I can't believe college football's done until September now.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, I know.
That sucks. Yeah.
We lost 20 minutes of our show.
Football?
Well, I mean,
I'm excited I will give it a chance.
Around. Yeah.
I will give it a chance. I'm not going to say one way or the other. I don't know if it's going to be good. I don't know if it's going to be bad. I will give it a chance. I want to see what happens. I want to see what happens. I don't love or hate the idea. So I was thinking about it, and I wanted to bring this up with you guys. I was thinking about a quarterback going to I was thinking about the USFL and sustainability over the long run, right? Yeah. And so what I was thinking about was a Sean Clifford, the quarterback at Penn State, or who was the Emory Jones at Florida last year, right? Right. Guys that aren't NFL aren't maybe 6th round picks, right? Probably aren't going to make a team out of camp. And what I was thinking about is what if they go to the USFL and they play very well. They're 275 out of 450, like 61% for 31 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, and 38 to 4,200 yards. And an NFL team takes a look at him and goes, "Yeah, I'd love to have that guy." And so they end up going to the NFL and making some real money. Or a linebacker who, isn't a top prospect. Is a 6th round pick or undrafted free agent goes and plays in the USFL and has 120 tackles, 40 tackles for loss, and 14 sacks, and 3 interceptions, and 2 forced fumbles.
Right.
And now he can go play. He can go play big boy football and make some real money.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do with that? How do you sustain a league if you end up being a feeder for the NFL?
Right.
If all your best talent is going to be just gone in a year, they're waiting.
Year.
If you're not going to be able to bring back faces, because I know their season will be over before the NFL starts, so it's not like they're going to be losing guys to the NFL in the middle of the season.
Right.
But how do you establish a fan? How do you tell your fans, hey, come watch the Tampa Bay Amarillos or whatever they're calling them,
Bandits.
The Tampa Bay Bandits or the Michigan Panthers, or let's say in a year or two when Cade McNamara is draft eligible, and he's not going to be an NFL talent, but the Michigan Panthers would sign him. And then let's say 2024 rolls around and the Michigan Panthers sign. He's a second round pick in the USFL draft, and he has a tremendous first season in the USFL draft, and he gets signed to an NFL team. How do the Michigan Panthers tell their fan base, you need to follow us and you need to watch our games, come to our games, support, wear our merch, buy our merch, buy that number 12 Cade McNamara jersey, and wear it and be proud and be loud and say, I'm a proud Michigan Panther fan.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy's already gone because he's going to the NFL, because he's going to play for Seattle. Because Seattle's moved on from Russell Wilson, and they want to bring in this young guy who's had a standout year in the USFL. And then what happens if they, and then if it doesn't work out in the NFL, can they go back to the USFL, and then will the USFL fans re-embrace them, or will they see them as traitors?
Good question. That's a good question.
Because I didn't have that, like when I was -5 when the USFL finally folded up and went away in '87. I wasn't even a twinkle in anybody's eye, let alone my parents.
Right.
And I don't know what it was like. I'd have to ask somebody who's a little bit older than me. So what was it like, Luke? Was there because
I have decent amount of players. I mean, had quality play, unlike some of the other leagues that have come and gone. USFL was a decent league. And people were knocking it, somewhere, but it has some good players. I actually went to see a Journals game back in '84, and it was good. It was a good, solid product.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about the mid '80s is there was still room to make money in football. You could still play. The NFL, these monster contracts that NFL stars were getting. They've got Thibodeau or Hutchinson as the number 1 overall pick.
Yes.
One of those two guys is going 1 overall. And I can't. The USFL isn't going to have enough money to steal them away from the NFL.
Yeah.
I can't see them having $110 million to pay a player for 4 or 5 years, or whatever the rookie maximum is going to be this upcoming season. I don't exactly know. Say $70 million. Let's say it's 4 years at $70 million, with a player option for year 5. I just can't imagine the USFL having that kind of money available.
Mm-hmm.
To throw at a Aiden Hutchinson or a Thibodeau or whoever,
I know they did before because they had players like Jim Kelly.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Them go
Jerry
down.
Rice.
Jerry, yeah, they went to play there before they went to the NFL. I don't know if that's the whole thing now. You have the juggernaut. The NFL is the $1 billion organization.
The evil empire.
The evil empire. And now,
as it were.
you're not going to be able to steal.
You're not going to poach the talent from the NFL without the capital. And we talk about this almost weekly at this point when we talk about the USFL. Is it's just there isn't enough money. I don't see their financial reports. I don't have access to their books. I don't know. Maybe they have billions of dollars in cash that they can burn on being able to pay top talent.
Right.
But how sustainable and how long can you sustain a league without superstars? I mean, I don't care how good the players are. They're not going to be NFL, anybody who's NFL caliber isn't going to stick around long enough to make a league out of it.
Right.
And I don't blame them. Like if the branch manager of the bank across the street came over and said, Bradley, we're going to offer you 50% more than what you're making today. Deuces.
Yeah.
You're going to make 10 times what you make. You're going to make 100 times what you make. You're going to take care of your family. You're going to meet all these hot chicks, and you're going to get laid every other day, and
every other day?
Well, you gotta play at some point.
That's true.
All
right, 6 days a week, you take off on game day.
Yeah, definitely.
There you go, Lou.
Definitely.
There you go.
You're gonna, it's gonna make your dick 2 inches bigger, and you're gonna have these gorgeous, your hair is gonna be fuller, you know what I mean. I would apologize for being crude, but I wouldn't be sorry. So,
evil.
I just can't see it. I mean, I can't wait to see what they can do. I'm excited to give it a try. I mean,
yeah,
I know that the AFL or AAF was a disaster, right? But we talked about that from the jump. Is that they didn't have money.
No,
I don't know. I feel like a broken record at this point.
With what?
And the XFL doesn't have the money either. I know they're trying to.
Right.
I mean,
the XFL, the USFL, the AAF, your NFL, even NFL Europe.
Yeah.
I mean, they had the backing of the NFL itself.
Yeah.
And
they paid with foreign money, not American money. So
yeah, they were sponsored by the NFL.
Yeah, still.
And they couldn't make it work.
No. Twice.
And they had the World Football League, and that evolved into NFL Europe, and that only stuck around for a couple years. Yeah. Arena football only survived 20 years.
Yep.
No, that was a good long run.
But it died.
But yeah, they.
I think. I
really think. I'll tell you what I think killed the Arena League was 2008. The economy going down.
Oh yeah.
The Arena League at that point, because back. I mean, I went and saw Kurt Warner's movie. When he was playing for the Iowa Barnstormers.
Yeah.
And they called it barnyard football because that's what it was. It was a 50-yard field.
Yeah, it was. It's backyard football.
It was barnyard football. So
definitely.
They every player that was there, they said that they weren't worth a shit because they weren't playing actual 100-yard football and that kind of thing. And there were a lot of players that did come out of the Arena League that did have good NFL careers. Kurt Warner. One of them. So there you go. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, but
I personally didn't like Arena League football. I've been to a couple games. It wasn't my attention. Didn't catch my attention.
It only held my attention for like 3 seasons in the mid 2000s, like 2004, 2005, 2006. I watched a lot of arena football in the summer when I was craving sports and there was nothing better on.
Right.
Okay, so what happened? See, what happened was I was poor growing up, and so we didn't have the cables. So if I wanted to watch sports, it was whatever was on network television. Right. So there was a lot of Arena League football on, and so I gravitated towards Arena League football when I got a little bit older, and I didn't really, I was doing other things on my Sunday afternoons in the summer. I was not watching Arena League football anymore. So when I stopped watching, I stopped caring, and when I stopped caring, I never went back to it.
Mm-hmm.
I got into other things and developed other interests, and I became a huge NASCAR fan, and so that's what absorbed my Sunday afternoons is watching watching NASCAR races, and Arena League football is fun for a weekend. It's a fun, interesting novelty, but it's nothing more.
Well, I was gonna say, but I wanted to let you know I have a neighbor of mine who buys what the heck is that? What are those called? Storage units that have people have their storage unit skill. And he every time he gets a sports memorabilia, whether it's an autograph or whatever, he brings it to me to ask me how much I think it's worth. I wish I had the authorization to authorize how much an autograph is worth. But he has this last one that he has two NASCAR magazines.
Okay.
I believe one of them is signed. Both of them are signed by Jeff Gordon. I know that.
Okay.
Because you could see the 24 after the name. We believe that one of them is signed by Dale Sr. I can't say that.
Well, if you can get pictures, send it to me, and I'll take a look at it.
Let me give.
Yeah, give me pictures, and I'll give you my.
I'll let you know, dude, because he has COVID right now. So I'll let you. As soon as he gets over it, I'll get pictures for you.
Yeah, when he's better. Yeah, get those pictures to me, and I'll take a look at them, and I'll let you know. It wouldn't. Can you tell me? Give me. It would have to have been pre 2001.
Yeah, no, the magazine, I think, Bud, was dated back in the 1998, 97 area.
Yeah. That would make sense.
Like I said,
both of them on. No,
both of them is Jeff
Both
Gordon.
of them have Gordon.
Both have Gordon.
And correct. One of them has Senior?
Yes, possibly. There's more racers on there as well, other than just Senior and Gordon. I don't know. Again, I don't know.
I would have to imagine that's an incredibly rare piece if you can get it authenticated.
Yeah.
Depending on, I don't know what Senior's autograph is going for right now, but I would not be surprised if you could ask $500 or $600 or $700 for that. A Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt authenticated piece.
Yeah. And then on top of that, in that same unit, he found not one, not two, but three things signed by Mario Lemieux. 2 pucks and a picture signed by Mario Lemieux. He has a few Lightning autographs, one by Marty St. Louis, I think. Some of the team from the year after they won the Cup in 2004, when they struggled for a long time before the Lightning have been successful for the past 5 or 6 seasons. But yeah, I mean, he comes to me and he goes, "You're not going to believe what I have." And again, I'm not a huge NASCAR fan. And I said, if that is signed by Gordon and Dale Sr., I said, even if it's not worth more than, say, $700 now, hang on to it, because someday down the road, it could be worth a couple thousand or maybe even tens of thousands of dollars, depending on your collectors, how much they'll pay for something like that. So next time he gets better, Bud, let me get some photos for you, and I'll send them to you, and you can let me know. The only reason I think it could be Senior, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, did he sign a 3 at the end of Earnhardt? Did he put a 3 at the end? Or was he not? Did he not do that? I don't know. Because the autograph that
Junior always signed anything Junior would be signed Dale Earnhardt, and then he'd have the JR. I'm not seeing big money for Senior stuff. Not for just a great autograph. I'm seeing some depending on what it is, anywhere from $25 to a couple $100.
I want to say the magazine also has Richard Petty's autograph on it as well.
He's got all 3 of them.
Gordon,
if you could get them authenticated. The biggest thing is you're gonna have to get an authenticator to authenticate it. You're gonna have to have a handwriting expert who knows what they're doing and deals in this stuff, come in and authenticate it. And at that point, it's probably really not going to be worth whatever you're going to spend on having somebody authenticate it.
Right.
And get the provenance for it is going to be, it's probably going to make it not, it's probably not going to be worth. At that point, you're probably breaking even if you actually can go through the.
I know the Lemieux stuff is worth at least a couple $100 per the pucks in the picture. So what he paid for that unit, what he paid for the unit, he got back easily.
Well,
those autographs.
My thinking is that what you paid for it, what you pay to get it authenticated, is probably not going to make it what you would have to pay to get it authenticated. Is you're probably not going to be able to get anything more than what you pay to authenticate it out of it.
Right. Yeah.
So if it costs $125 to get it authenticated and it comes back real, that's probably where you're gonna. That's probably about. You might get $150 for it.
Well,
yeah.
As a collector, if you want to collect it and you want to hold on to it, the thing about senior autographs is they're not rare. No, because Dale Sr. liked to autograph things. He was a country bumpkin from the middle of nowhere who made it on the backs of every other country bumpkin from the middle of nowhere. Every other 8th grade dropout, like we talked about earlier in the show, every other 8th grade dropout who dreamed of racing at Daytona.
Yeah.
He was just one of them. He'd spend 2 hours every morning just hand responding to the letters that he would get. And so Dale Sr.'s autograph it's not super rare. It's not super hard to come by. And so it's not like an Elvis, somebody who's been dead for, pushing 50 years now, or a presidential signature, which has significance, especially on an important document, like a military, commission or something like that, or a general signature on a battle plan, or somebody who's super hard to get a hold of, or an autograph, a set of like the autograph that I have with Montana and Dwight Clark on a press jersey that wasn't supposed to be available to the public. Those things that are rare and are worth money because they are rare and they're hard to come by.
Yeah. Yep.
Dale Sr.'s just, it's an autograph, man. He was an autograph man. He loved to autograph.
Right.
And that's it's also a NASCAR thing. As NASCAR fans are, used to be before COVID, you'd have a couple hundred people in the garage area before a race. Some people's got hats and shirts and jackets and notebooks, and they just throw them out with a pen. And as the guys are walking through the garage area, you might have 25.
Yeah. Right. I get though.
But yeah, I would agree with that. I mean,
5 fans over there, and so you have, you just hold your notebook out and your pen, and here you go, there you go, and you get the next guy, and he sign it for you, and you get the next guy, the guys you wanted, or you want a Dale Jr. autograph, or you want a Jimmy Johnson autograph, and you're like, hey, will you sign this for me? And they'll go, there you go. And because it's such an, NASCAR has such a close relationship with its fan base because of the unprecedented access that you can pay for, and it's relatively, it's affordable. Well, it used to be before COVID. Getting garage access, you just pay for a pit pass. You just pay for a pit pass, $100. You can be in the infield. A lot of times, practice was open. So you wouldn't even need a ticket. If you had a motorhome, if you're in the campground, and the guys wander through the campground, or they'd be out there in the hanging out with fans, and you'd be like, "Hey, can I get your autograph?" And, yeah, sure, no problem. Here you go. Yep. So NASCAR autographs aren't incredibly rare. Like a Davey Ellison, a guy who had who burned bright for such a short of time. That might be a rarer autograph that might be harder to come by, that would command a higher dollar.
Mm-hmm.
But your Dale Seniors, your Jeff Gordons, your Jimmy Johnsons, those guys, they did autograph signings all the time. And at track and off track, they would have, autograph sessions. And, so they're not exceedingly rare. And that's what makes a signature valuable, is the rarity of it and the item that it's on.
Right.
So I not to say that I wouldn't want them or I wouldn't want to take a look at them, but
yeah,
if he's willing to make a deal, he can make a deal.
Real quick, guys, I mean, we're at the end. Is anything you guys want to have any final thoughts? Anything? Lou, do you want to go ahead and talk about your show on Saturday?
All right. Of course, we're still going strong. Enhanced Sports Show Saturdays, 5 to 7 p.m. East Coast time. Number to call is 512-543-4662. We're going to be talking the NFL playoffs of the division round. We'll also recap last week's round because some of us did better than others and some of us just plain sucked. We'll also cover part of the Australian Open, which has been somewhat a bit of a controversy, of course. We'll take a look at NBA trades because they're still heating up, even though there's still 3.5 weeks to go before the trade deadline. But hey, there have been moves. The movers have been shakers. NHL news, we'll cover more of the Olympics. And, of course, Enhanced Sports Show will be your home for the Olympics for the next one we get started in 3 weeks. Actually, a week and a half. We'll cover just about everything. So if you got time between 5 and 7, call the phone number again, 512-543-4662. And if you really find a place in the middle of nowhere, come to New Jersey. I'll prove it to you. It's in the middle of nowhere. Believe me.
New Jersey. Close to somewhere. If you can't get enough of my annoying voice, I'm over on the TikTok at Aries1445. I do all kinds of content over there. Random bullshit. It's kind of my MO. So if you like this show and you want to hear more from me, you can come check me out there. I post every now and again. I post all kinds of crazy content over there. So it's not just sports. It's random whatever.
Right. Random bullshit.
With that, again, thanks everyone. Thanks Phil for coming and letting us know about his chunk of the old sombrero, old Tampa Stadium. We'll definitely have to get that going.
Yeah, I want to check that out too.
Everyone else who came in and watched for a little while. We will be back here, guys, next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, this has been the Walker Report, part of In the Zone Sports Talk Radio and part of NGSC Sports. Remember the website, it's ngscsports.com for all your current sports content. And we are also sponsored by creatingzenspaces.com. But again, guys, I want to say thank you to my two co-hosts for making this show awesome again, as we do every Thursday. We love all of you guys that tune in and give us a chance. Again, if you want to see this show, if you didn't get a chance to see it in its entirety, it will be on the YouTube channel, the Sports Center Bradley Walker.
Or you just want to watch it again.
Following the show.
It's your own risk, people.
Following the show, after the show, it will be posted.
Immediately following this show.
Yeah, I posted up immediately after the show is over. But we will be back next week. I have been the Sports Center Bradley Walker. Everyone, stay safe out there. Again, thank you to our first responders and our men and women of our armed services. Thank you for doing what you do. Until next Thursday, gentlemen, and everyone out there, peace.
Good night, folks. Okay, I gotta get out of here. Okay.